What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and welcome back to another video. And today we're finally going to sit down and talk about the Epic Game Store versus Steam debate that's been raging in the gaming community over the course of the past month or so. Now, I have talked about this situation on many episodes of the podcast Caffeinate before, but I have never made a video devoted to it, so I figured that's what I would finally sit down and do today. So to start off, if you don't already know, Steam is pretty much the #1 place to put a game if you are launching a game on PC, and therefore, it's always traditionally been the #1 place to go if you want to purchase a game on PC. Now, there are launchers such as the Origin launcher, there is Uplay, for instance, between EA and Ubisoft respectively, but aside from those and a few others, you do have Steam kind of maintaining dominance in the space, and a lot of companies actually publish their games on Steam as well as their own launcher, because they know if they go with their own launcher exclusively, more people are going to skip out on their game, because Steam is just so powerful. That is, until December of 2018, because Valve essentially announced a restructuring of the revenue share that they get from a game being published on Steam. Up until then, Valve had gotten 30% of every bit of profit from the games put on Steam. Now, if your game makes over $10 million, I know, just $10 million, then you go ahead and you give 25% to Valve. And if it makes over $50 million, again, an easily achievable goal for many indie developers, then they actually give 20% of the profit to Valve. So it's getting a bit better. However, then Epic Games came in with the announcement of the Epic Games Store. If a game is published on the Epic Games Store, when it comes down to it, those behind the scenes that actually worked to bring the game to life get more money. In the blog post, they say developers receive 88% of the revenue. There are no tiers or thresholds. Epic takes 12%. And if you're using Unreal Engine, Epic will cover the 5% engine royalty for sales on the Epic Games Store out of Epic's 12%. So essentially, it is the best deal, especially for indie developers. Indie developers especially are going to be so much better off by publishing on the Epic Games Store instead of going to Steam, where there is no way they would hit the $10 million mark to get more of their cut. There is no way that would happen for a majority of indie developers. Since this announcement, it was kind of understood that more indie developers would be going towards the Epic Games Store, but I don't think anybody could have predicted that The Division 2 would be launching on the Epic Games Store, and on top of that, Metro Exodus is going to be a year-long Epic Games Store exclusive. These are two massive games for the spring of 2019. That's something that is kind of shocking to a lot of people, including myself. You have a lot of people coming out on Twitter saying, I'm not going to be buying X game because it's not going to be on Steam. I don't support Epic Games. I don't support this move over to this new platform. And again, everybody is entitled to their own opinions, but you have to understand the value of being able to publish on the Epic Games Store. Now, I do understand that some people are tied to stuff like Steam achievements. I understand that, and I can identify with that, because when I'm playing a game on PC, I wish that I was earning the trophy on the PlayStation 4. That's just something that I can admit. Another one of the big issues that people have right now is the fact that there is no review system on the Epic Games Store. So if you're going through and you're trying to pick out a brand new game to play and you have no idea what any of these games are, Genesis Alpha 1, an indie FPS with base building mechanics that is fine, is going to be up alongside The Division 2, a AAA shooter coming from Ubisoft. And these are going to be presented as equals when in fact they aren't. And that's one of the beauties of reviews, is that you can then read some and say, hey, these games are two totally different experiences and two totally different tiers of experience. With that being said, there is currently the development going on behind the scenes of a brand new review system that pretty much discourages and eliminates the review bombs that we've seen over the past few years. For those that don't know what a review bomb is, whenever a company makes some kind of decision or screws up something on social media or does anything negative, essentially people have begun to practice going to the actual game page or pages of previous games that have come out in the past and bombing the reviews section to make the games themselves look bad because the company made a decision that they don't agree with. Whether or not you agree with the process of review bombing is still up in the air, and that's a person-to-person kind of basis situation. But I love the idea of a brand new review system coming into play that isn't built off of what Steam has already made, because it increases the subjectivity of somebody's judgment whenever they're looking at a game. Instead of hearing what the corporations have done, instead of seeing what the company is currently doing, you can look at the game and see if it is a genuinely good game. It is all based off of the quality of the game itself, and so if they can in fact develop this brand new review system, it could lay the foundation of future review systems going forward that are more subjective and give you a more accurate presentation indication of what the game itself is going to be. One of the biggest words that I'm seeing thrown around for this specific situation is corporatization. Everybody's saying that Epic is getting too caught up in the money, and developers and publishers that choose to jump from their loyalty to Steam and swim over to the safe shores of the Epic Games Store are too caught up in the money and trying to drive profits instead of doing what's right for the gamer. And literally, I'll go back to my first point, you have to literally download a free launcher to get access to their game. If you could make a significantly higher amount of money by asking people to download one small free little file, would you not? I would. Now, before we wrap everything up, there is one big question that everybody is asking, and that is, can Epic Games actually kill Steam? That's still up in the air for me. I think that they can significantly put a dent in the profits of Steam if they play their cards correctly over the next few years. And the way that I explain this on Twitter is that right now, Fortnite is becoming the new Call of Duty. Kids that are between the ages of 10 and 15 right now are playing Fortnite like nobody's business and absolutely eating it up and becoming ingrained in the Epic Games ecosystem. So as they get older and as Fortnite begins to fade, as all games do, they're going to begin to look elsewhere for games, and the first place they're going to branch out to are games that are also available through the Epic Games Store. To simplify that a bit more, older gamers, myself included, have traditionally gotten their games on PC from Steam. With Fortnite and with kids beginning to play more games via Epic Games, that very well could shift for the next generation. But that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this because this is a hotly debated topic here at the beginning of 2019. But if you happen to be brand new to the channel, again, you can check out some of my other content. I host a podcast 5 days a week over on twitch.tv/thesamueladams. And of course, links for all of my social media and other content are in the description box down below. But as for right now, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. I'll talk to you soon, and peace.